The reason you lack success is because of your inability to finish. It's very easy to blame things like discipline, motivation, and those concepts can come into play as touching your success. However, in this channel, we do not adopt mainstream belief. We do not go towards what is familiar and acceptable by humans. We create unique concepts and distill keys that are life applicable, providing solution towards your destiny. So in tonight's discourse, we won't blame the mainstream discipline, absence of motivation, and all of those easy concepts. However, we'll do something unique. The reason you lack success is your ability or your inability to finish. Is it truly failure if you win at the end? Please understand, is it truly failure if you win at the end? It's a decision you have to make for yourself. So if you fail, and ultimately you become successful, did you fail? Exactly. Unfortunately, most people do not last up until the point they become successful. And in tonight's discourse, I'll give you the rudiments as touching your ability to last. Cause motivation. In fact, anyone who has built something worthy of admiration would concur that motivation doesn't lead to success. You can bump up an hour of Goggins or Eric Thomas yelling at you to take action. But when push comes to shove, you fall at the wayside. Because success, anything worthy of admiration, is difficult. It is painful to build. Not just the physical pain, but the emotional pain of getting early every single day, doing XYZ with little to no results. It's painful. So one of the things you need to observe is uncertainty. Uncertainty kills more dreams than failure. I'll give you the reason. The moment you start something new, you're motivated, you're inspired to take action, because it's most likely you're coming from a point of addiction, lack of purpose, and all shades of negativity. So you've introduced this new belief, you've introduced this new business to your life, of which makes you feel like you're walking towards something. So although there is absence of results, it has little to no bearing on your life because of the feeling of progress, the feeling that you're moving forward. When it becomes painful is after 6 months, a year, 2 years for some, when there is no result, no achievement, no stride as touching your efforts. It becomes a point of worries. In fact, most people start worrying when they see someone who they used to know commanding a level of results. So you start a business and you're not really concerned with the output, you're focused on the inputs as you should. One of your body purchases a new Mercedes. One of your body purchases some luxurious item you desire. And this has nothing to do with envy, but more so the human spirit have this desire for progress. So when you see progress, it does something to you. That energy can either be translated into desire, envy, or motivation. This desire to do something, the desire to bring results, the desire to be unhinged, the desire to make something out of your life. A decision you have to make for yourself. So uncertainty, when is this going to happen? When am I going to do X, Y, Z? When is this result going to be procured? It kills more dreams. Because I've said it here countlessly that the subconscious mind controls a huge portion of how we act. So the subconscious mind has exclusive control over your life. Most of the actions you take today are as a consequence of a belief system. Now, you might take this action unconsciously, but a belief powers your action. For instance, the way you dress. The way you dress, in fact, this is a perfect example. You have this idea that putting on my $1,000 Hermes slide somehow makes you cool. Therefore, you feel confident when it's on your feet. Now, is there a logical transfer? If you observe it as a professional, if you observe it, is there a logical transfer of confidence from the slide to your brain? Exactly. So the same way you can convince yourself to generate the same feeling as you would if you had your desire. And this is easier said than done. Even I find it difficult to conform to my principles. But that's beyond the discourse of tonight. The point I want to highlight is uncertainty kills more dreams than you know. Uncertainty, taking action and devoid of the results is enough to make you stop. The reason I introduced the subconscious mind, when things are not working in accordance to plan, you notice yourself scaling back on the effort as touching the desire. So the consecration demands the effort put to achieve a desired outcome begins to scale back. So for instance, you're a businesswoman, you show up late, there's no desire, there's no motivation, there's no screaming at your employees, there's no push towards the successful pendulum. Every single thing seems contrived. It's as though it's mechanical to show up. So the subconscious mind is very powerful in that regard. Very recently, I gave out a contract to do a roof. I've experienced this is like one of my worst real estate deals. I've experienced tons of problems from that one property. The guy keeps adjusting the budget, although I obliged almost immediately. Now, if he came with the motion, I portrayed this budget and the time frame between the drafting of budget and the response are vastly apart. Then you have a case. But immediately you send this budget, I instantly obliged. So coming to me and inflating the price is a different discourse in and of itself. It is very unprofessional. Very unprofessional, sir. That's exactly what I said to him. Something I noticed is I showed up differently. I showed up slowly. I began to, or my efforts as touching success began to dwindle. And I'm being as vulnerable with you as possible because I want you to learn. Until I switched, told myself, you can make yourself feel happy. You can make yourself feel excited because the prerequisite for happiness is not something external, it's internal. When an athlete comes first place, I don't need to stand up and motivate him to feel happy, motivate him to feel inspired. Instantly is an emotion that's generated as a consequence. So you can generate that emotion devoid of the external action. Uncertainty kills more dreams than you know. Moments of uncertainty, believe yourself. And in fact, the internet has made it easier to do this. Because although you're doing something new, which has never been done before, which means the roadmap doesn't exist. A consequence, you would fail a lot. But what does exist is there are people who are captures of the fragments of success. Yes, they may not be holistically what you want to become, but they have a little bit of fragments of success. That in and of itself can be a motivating factor to keep persisting, to keep pushing. That is possible. It's possible. I hope you said bless you. Anyways, push past uncertainty and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.